So after a 9-hour drive, we've made it to Loch Maree. Properly amazing round here. So next thing up, we've got to inflate our kayaks in a big dinghy, and we're going to go and try and get over to the island over there, set up a camp for the night. See how that goes. So we've made it to the island. We used 2 kayaks, and then me and James tied a rope to James and to the big dinghy there, and we put all the bags in there and towed it across. Show you the actual location. It's actually nearly 8 o'clock, so the light's going a bit now, but we're on an island here. We've got a bit of a little beach and a shore, and then we rode from right over on the other side there. The midges are getting pretty bad now, to be honest, so I'm going to put my midge net on in a second. You probably can't see it from here. We might be able to get a flash of colour just there, but our camp is basically through there. I've just waded out there and put a crayfish trap. I don't know if there's any crayfish in here, but I've just put a trap out over there, so we'll see if there's anything in the morning. Anyway, I'll show you the camp in a bit. Morning, that's the first night. Managed to survive it. Now I've got to say, the midges are totally horrendous. Like, permanently wearing a head midge net, spraying repellent on and all that, you know, but they're really horrendous, especially at night. They came out crazy style. They're still around quite a bit today, but it's a lovely location to wake up to. Boats are still here. Yeah, slept okay. I mean, we had a bit of a small issue with James's hammock in the night, so I had to get up and help him, and I put a head torch on, and it was basically just an invitation for midges to just swarm my face. You can't wear a head torch around here. But today, it rained a lot in the night as well, but we all kept dry. And today we're going to go and, there's loads of these little islands about. Some of them are just bare rocks really, so we're going to go and find one that's really just a bare rock and hopefully has very few midges on. That's the plan, and do some fishing off it. And I'm going to go and over there somewhere about there is my crayfish trap, so I'm going to see if that's caught anything. Just surprised if it has, to be honest, but worth a check. Go and get the lads up. I'll try and show you where the camp is. It's the other thing about this island is the walking is really difficult, especially as I've got a knackered knee. This bit's okay because it's like a sandy beach. Let me just grab my walking pole, and I'll try and make my way back to the camp. The lads are still in the hammocks, even though it's about 8:30. Such is their laziness. So let me see if I can manage to do this on the phone. It's a few yards over this way. But yeah, it's, I've already gone absolutely onto my backside, falling over, because it's trying to walk through this. There's just loads of potholes and you can't see what you put in your foot. So this will be quite funny for you if I fall over now. It's really dense, and you just, nothing is flat, nothing at all is flat. It's ridges and holes and ridges and holes and rocks and divots. But it's a beautiful woodland. It's definitely owned by the midge though. Here we go. You can see the camp coming up, I think. Whoop, nearly went. Yeah, this is horrendous to try and walk. There we go. So, four tarps there, and then just over where that holly tree is underneath there we had a fire. Okay, I'll go and check the crayfish nets.
Okay, so Stephen's about to just check his crayfish traps that he's set overnight to see if he's got any lunch.
Of the loch.
The fruits of the loch.
Is it going to be empty? Oh, I can see it's still there. It doesn't look abundant.
I'm going to speculate and go out on a limb and say there's going to be nothing in it. Could be wrong.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, there you go, there's nothing in it, what a surprise.
A rock of waiting. That's ridiculous. It doesn't like that cat food.
Don't know.
Oh, there's absolutely nothing living in here, maybe. Crayfish variety. Oh well. Might as well leave it back in here for a bit. See if the crayfish
Pop it in again if you want, yeah. Or maybe you could go out of this cove because maybe they don't like coves, maybe they want to be a bit more out in the open.
I'm not the crayfish whisperer. Well,
how dare you not know everything about crayfish?
No, it's going back in.
Alright.
So I can't believe nothing is nibbled on that. Maybe it's the wrong bait. I'll change the bait later on. I used some like whiskers, tuna, cat food.
They just don't like you. Just think you're an idiot.
Maybe it's got my foul odour on the trap. Anyway, oh well. Strike one. Just doing a bit of exploring. And I've just discovered this gorgeous little beach with a little shoreline, and look at that view. Camera doesn't do it justice really, but that's an incredible little place. I think we'll come and chill down here later. Somebody's had a fire down there at some point anyway, so we might just get that going and chill down here later. This is nice. Midges has buggered off a bit now this morning as well. There's a breeze about, so we're all feeling a bit happier. Anyway, that's James down there. He's just getting his water filter pump out, and we're going to filter some water for drinking. Right, so this is James about to filter our water. He's got this cool little pump action filter. So wacky tube in there, just so. But you can see how clear the water is from the loch anyway. It's like, obviously you couldn't drink it, but by no means dirty. Properly crystal clear. Not seen any fish yet, unfortunately, but yeah, it's coming through. So yeah, this is the little topping up water bottles routine, but you couldn't really have a nicer spot to do it in. And the midges have definitely chilled out a bit now as well, unlike last night. So the sun's come out. It's glorious now after it rained all night. This is the camp. There's my setup there, and Sam's. This is Matt's. James is at the back there. James is still gawping at the amazing beach we just found. Matt's got a brew on the go under a holly tree. Seems to deter the midges a little bit, this holly tree. Not massively, but it helps. So Matt's got a brew on the go. That's our rubbish bag over there with Sam hiding behind it.
Hello.
That was our campfire from last night. And yeah, these are our surroundings. And the weather's unbelievable considering it really rained a lot in the night. Not heavy, but consistently drizzling down. So yeah, we're going to, here comes James, wading his way back through the undergrowth. See if he goes down a pothole and disappears. Oh, he's kindly brought my water bottle. Cheers, mate. So yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Sam's having a bit of a fly fish off there. He's pretty fly for a white guy. James is chilling out. Matt's trying to practice with his cast net, which he just got. Having a little go at throwing it. It's quite a tricky technique actually. Not too bad. Get in there, mate. Keep practicing, old boy. Keep practicing. So we just came across in the dinghy from the camp, which you can just about make out there. It's beautiful out now, considering it rained all night. This is a totally a mind-blowingly stunning location. I don't think there's an awful lot of fishing here though. Apparently at the entrance to the loch they did a salmon farm and like depleted the stock of fish in it because some little parasites or something came on the salmon and affected the trout. But yeah, it's nice just to chill out here. I'm not that confident we'll get any fish, but you know, who cares when you're out here? We've got plenty of food with us anyway. Yeah, it's happy days out here. It's beautiful. Forecast to be a bit drier now tomorrow, but really cloudy. Anyway, see how we get on. James and Matt just heading back over to there, and they're going to swap the dinghy for a kayak, and they're going to go and circumnavigate our island and see if there's any other little beauty spots or cool little places that we haven't discovered yet. So they'll report back to us in an hour, whatever it takes them to get around this island. Because there's all that woodland in the back that you can see is the big island. We haven't explored it very well yet. I'm going to go for a swim in there later. I know it's a bit nippy. But I've already been up past the family jewels anyway, so if you can do that, you've took the worst of the cold, haven't you? There you go everybody. Matt and Steve on the dinghy. Hi boys! Cool, eh? Loch Maree.
There's Steve over there, has just decided to have a dip in the water while the sun's shining. It's probably a good time to get in and drip dry. No midges about at the moment because it's so bright sunshine and away from the trees. You can see our dinghies and kayaks in the background. It's not too cold, the water. I mean, it is Scotland, but it's not too bad. I'll tell you what's nipping, Steve, these midges on my leg. I'm going to stand a bit more over here.
Get used to it. This whole area is about this deep, so it's perfect for swimming in, you know, this whole section.
Yeah, it's quite shallow, the water here. It's like a nice little sheltered cove. So you don't go too deep.
Like Mr. Darcy, isn't it?
It's quite bracing.
Is this content alright for YouTube?
Oh.
Here he comes, rising like Neptune from the deep.
Rises like a salad.
What's mate? You ready?
And there's James over there with the kayak ready to go.
Yeah, come over to me.
Okay, so this is tonight's camp. There we have Sam with his glasses and fly net. There's Matthew. Hi Matt. There's our wonderful campfire with Matt drying his trousers. And there's Steve doing his wood sawing with his Laplander. And what a mighty fine little camp on the beach this is. And there is the view of our Loch Maree. It's 5 AM. Just had the second night in the hammock. I've risked taking a glove off to use my phone because there's actually quite a few midges under my mesh which I'm sleeping in because they come in on your clothes and I can see them floating around my face now. You've got to sleep in one of these meshes. You can actually hear a little bit of bird song now in the distance, but very little really compared to when we normally wild camp. we've seen so far, one tiny little black and white bird that we didn't recognise, and one duck, and 3 tiny little fish about the size of a little finger. It's actually really a barren place, apart from about a squillion, zillion, million midges. Yeah, it's the Isle of the Midge. But it's no wonder really, because all the interior of the island is totally swamp. You can't go and walk on the island. It's just, you just start going up to your knees in swamp, and you know, it's just wet moss and bog. So only the sort of periphery of the island is actually navigable on foot. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you just have to cover up really well when you're in your hammock. So I'm tucking my trousers in my socks, putting a pair of gloves on, sleeping in my head net. Still get the odd bite, but yeah, it's the midges are really the thing that make it interesting, should we say? Anyway, it's 5 AM, so I'm going to try and get another couple of hours. Right, so it's the second morning. What day is it, lads? Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Thursday. But we lose track on it. Thursday the 23rd. It's warm, muggy even, but we've had to light a fire to try and get some smoke going because the midges were absolutely ridiculous last night. And we don't even feel like we can sort of cook a breakfast or anything at the minute, because as soon as you just even take your head net off to eat, they just eat you instead. Or you get your food out, they'll just all dive bomb it. What did you reckon, James, of the midge experience last night?
Well, Loch Maree is without doubt one of the most beautiful places you could ever come across, but unfortunately, yeah, the midges were slightly worse than even anticipated. So even with our smidge nets, which do work, you need to basically keep.
Did you sleep in all that gear? Yeah.
I slept in all this all night. Yeah.
But what about your hammock though? You met your net on your hammock?
Completely penetrated.
Yeah, they did in mine as well. I had a big swarm of them in my hammock. If anything, they get through the net and then it keeps them in there.
Yeah, yeah. So what will happen is you'll see them swarm outside and they'll all hit the net.
Yeah.
They'll crawl through the little holes on your net.
Yeah.
Because they're only up to 1.4 mil and below even.
Yeah.
And then they'll swarm inside your hammock.
I know. Well, Matt's just had a wee over there, right? Matt, be honest now, do you feel fear taking your old man out to have a wee in this, or what?
Yeah, I've got to say, they're coming at me from all angles.
I know, they just, you don't want to get any flesh out at this time of the day.
Yeah.
Particularly, there's not a breath of wind, and you know, there's just, it's warm and muggy. The smoke's helping a bit. Sam seems a little bit more immune to the midges because I don't think he's got as much meat on him.
I mean, the midges are the difference between having a nice time and just tolerating it.
Yeah.
And if the midges sod off and you've got a nice,
which they did
bit of
yesterday
a
midday,
breeze,
didn't they?
and you know, you can go out on the water, paddle that, you can have a great time. But if there's not a breath of air like today,
Yeah.
and it's damp, forget it.
I know. Well, I mean, I wanted to like get a sausage and beans and bacon on and that this morning, but at the minute I daren't do it because there's no point. I can't even lift my mask up to eat it.
Sausage, beans.
Would it be sausage, bean, bacon and midge, wouldn't it? Anyway, we've done. This is we got here on Tuesday afternoon and it's now Thursday morning, so we know what it's like now for the midges.
So we've just arrived back on the mainland of Scotland from the islands on Loch Maree, and we've made it here first because Steve and James are towing the cargo dinghy back with all of the gear in it. Let me just zoom in a bit if you can see them. It's hard work that actually, there's a lot of weight in that dinghy, pulling it along is no easy task. We burned them off, no problem. Here's our dinghy, or our kayak I should say. So, the state of these two. They'll be glad to get back to civilization after the few days we've had. It's been very, very, very nice, but the midges have been slightly uncooperative. They've had ideas of their own, trying to eat us alive. It's a very gloomy day here today, very overhanging cloud and still, and not a breath of wind really, which is perfect midge weather. Muggy as well, really muggy. So I'll be glad to be away. Gonna miss the beauty of the nature though. Look at these clowns. Oh lads, I forgot my other bag, you're gonna have to go back. On the plus side, fellas, I've not needed my midge net over here yet.
It's a long way to that.
That is a long, long way.
Yeah, we'll do a chain.
And there is salvation. Look how low hanging that cloud is. Normally at the far end of the loch over there you'd see a huge mountain sticking up. I can't remember its name now, it's a Gaelic name, but I'll have to research it. It's a beautiful mountain. It stands proud and dominant just at the end of the loch over there, just like it was the seat of some ancient god surveying his domain. It's a really special place, just miles from anywhere really.
Stranded on the island, trapped on Loch Maree. Nobody to hear our calls, nobody to see. Surviving on the little crabs and the little fishes too. Digging a hole in the ground every time you need a poo. Loch Maree, Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? Stranded here without much gear with Matt, James and Steve. Loch Maree, Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? Too far gone to carry on, won't you let me be, let me be. No phone signal to call them, no internet or texts. Ain't got no comfy mattress, sure as hell don't get no sex. And when they find our bodies, they will surely see 4 damn fools who thought it cool to go to Loch Maree. Loch Maree, Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? Stranded here without much gear, Matt, James and Steve. Loch Maree, Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? Too far gone to carry on, won't you let me be, let me be. And when the little midges crawl under your top, and you feel the little bites in the dark, all a man can do is hope and pray tomorrow brings a bright and breezy day. Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? Stranded here without much gear with Matt, James and Steve. Loch Maree, why are you doing this to me? I'm too far gone to carry on.